Welcome back, folks. I got another cooking video to show you. Now, it's been a while, about a week since I did my last video. I've been pretty busy lately, so it hasn't been easy to keep up with. But this is a rump roast. It's a tougher cut. It's about 3 pounds. And if you could probably see close enough, I did what's called scoring. First of all, you want to put the fat side up. That way the fat runs off, gives the roast more flavor, makes it more tender. And then you put the seasoning on. The second thing you do is you make, first you have the fat side up, and then the second thing you do is you score it. You make just gentle, make sure you have your knife nice and sharp, a sharp knife, and make like a crosshatch pattern, slits into the fat, but not into the meat. You don't want to go too deep in. And what that does is that allows when the fat starts to cook, the fat will basically reabsorb its own juices, the roast as a whole. It'll be more tender, more flavorful, more juicy, and also your seasoning will seep in. There's a number of different seasonings out there that you can buy at the store and make your own. This is what I use. Just salt and pepper, equal parts mixed together. I just sprinkled on, and a little dried rosemary, and also some dried thyme. Now you can do this. This is rump roast, which comes from the hind quarter. This is a type of cut that, you could cook it to medium rare if you wanted, but it wouldn't be very tender. This is one of those cuts that you kind of have to slow cook. It's very similar to like top round, bottom round, or also eye of the round. The cuts like this, you want to slow cook at like 250 for at least like 5 to 6 hours, maybe even longer than that. And then do this in the oven. You could also do it in the crock pot. Now, if you want to have a roast medium rare or medium and have it tender, that's more what like prime rib is suited for. And also beef tenderloin. Looks kind of like a pork tenderloin. That's the most tender cut. That's what a filet mignon is cut from. You could get roughly, maybe, depending on the size of it, a 3-pound beef tenderloin. Depending on how big you're cutting the fillets, you could get anywhere from 8 to 10 fillets, depending on how big you're cutting them. So what you're going to do is you're going to slow cook this at 250 for about at least, let's say, 5 hours, even longer, depending on how tender you want it. And it really helps since this is a tough cut, it really helps it to become real nice and fork tender. You do still need a knife when you're cutting it, but I mean, if you are strong enough like me, you could dig your fork, in a little bit and even cut it with a fork if you had enough effort in your wrist, which I'm able to do. Now, again, with this obviously is going to be slow cooked. As I was saying before, like beef tenderloin, prime rib, something that you might want like medium rare, medium, that'll be tender at that temperature, not cooking for very long. Those you can cook at a higher temperature, no more than 325, I'd say, no more than 325, because then it could get tough. But yeah, prime rib, medium rare, you cook at 320, depending upon the size, cook at 325. If you got like a 7 or 8 pound prime rib, if you want to cook it to medium rare, usually gets there, in my experience, like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And for medium rare, you want it like 115 to 118 with a thermometer. And they'll still continue to rise in temperature. The actual serving temperature of a medium rare is 140. Now, that's what we call carryover cooking. Every roast recipe you'll see, they'll tell you to remove it from the oven, and you'll cover it with foil tent, which is called tenning tenet, to keep it warm. That allows the juices to be reabsorbed, redistributed. Because if you slice it the minute the second comes out of the oven, the juices will just go all over the cutting board, and then you don't really have a juicy roast, whatever it tends to be, whatever you're using. And prime rib, again, it will continue to rise in temperature. You pull that 115, 118. You don't want it to go, you want it to stay below 120, because 120, then you're looking at medium. Medium well will be like 130, and well done would be 140. and it's still going to rise in temperature. You know, a lot of people think that, oh, you know, prime rib is medium rare at 140, so that's what they cook it to. But what they don't realize, when they pull it out of the oven, they let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes, that roast is going to be up to like 160 more than likely. Because if you pulled out at 115, 118, which is medium rare, by the time you serve it, you let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes, and it's going to be 140. So I think I covered everything I wanted to on roast, beef roast. If you have any more questions, any more comments you want to add, just let me know.